got to worry about everybody, not just big body Brunson. So, just really excited for what's to come for these guys. And, whoever comes out the West, they better be ready for a war.
Congrats to Al. Congrats to New Yorkers everywhere. Congrats to Knicks fans. It's going to be a party in New York tonight. But when Al says that he thinks that they have another gear left, that's terrifying. They've been so good in this postseason. They've won 11 in a row. They've won 6 straight on the road. Here's something for you guys. They have, over this 11-game winning streak, the best point differential in NBA history. Not just in the postseason or the regular season. The NBA has never seen a run like this in its history. And as Al said, it's not just the Jalen Brunson show, right? Everybody is contributing. There's so many different ways that the Knicks can beat you. Karl Anthony Towns has been excellent. OG Anunoby, who I thought before he hurt his hamstring was the best two-way player in the playoffs. He looks healthy. He's back. Mikal Bridges, he didn't shoot the ball well tonight, finally. But prior to that, he couldn't miss. Josh Hart does everything. That bench has been really good. The Knicks beat the Cavs everywhere. After that first 3.5 quarters in game 1, the Cavs got absolutely swamped, and that was true again tonight. The Knicks won the turnover battle. They crushed them in the paint. They won on the glass. They won on the bench. They won in the fast break points. So when I was saying that they still got another level to go, I'm terrified to see what that might look like, but it's going to be fun once they now that they're in the NBA Finals.
Absolutely, yeah. They can go to another level. Look out the Thunder and San Antonio, or San Antonio. Now, it's been quite the ride for New York, making their first NBA Finals since 1999. They went through countless head coaches and executives, even firing Tom Thibodeau in the same season they made the conference finals for the first time since 2000. And Al, when you think about where this franchise was before Jalen Brunson arrived to where they are now after the trades for Cat, OG, Mikal Bridges, what stands out to you the most?
Man, I just think that the basketball guys finally took care of us. There's been a long time where, people always refer to the Knicks being cursed and it's just bad luck, just, all around the organization. But, I feel like ever since, Leon Rose and Worldwide West came in, and I really feel like James Dolan really gave them the keys to the car. And I think he finally stepped back and he allowed them to really go and architect and build a team and a culture that everybody could be proud of. I mean, even when you see all the ex-Knicks there and there, everybody feels a part of this movement and around this trajectory around this organization. And it's like I said, it's just a beautiful thing to see. And, I think that once again, they can continue to build on it through this finals run. And, if we can win this championship, which I really believe, and like I mentioned, I already put my foot down saying that this is our year. I just feel like this organization just needs it. This city needs it. Hopefully they know how to act, once we do win it and we don't burn the city down. So there is a city to have afterwards. But, the city really deserves it. So many loyal Knicks fans. Look how they travel. I mean, every stadium that they go into, you hear "Let's Go Knicks" chants over the home crowd. So they just this fan base really deserves it. This team deserves it. They've really worked hard. Mike Brown, everything that he's been through, it just seems like it's just the perfect timing for this team.
Yeah, let's see how it goes on how they act tonight first, Al. But yeah, congrats to Knicks fans again. But you hit on something there with Leon Rose, who's the architect of this thing, right? He goes and gets all 5 of the starters that you see on this team that are now in the finals for the first time since 1999. He goes and gets Jalen Brunson. Mavs let him go. People aren't really sure if Jalen Brunson can lead a team. Boy, that's asked and answered. They could have just sat on Julius Randle, right? Let's trade him for Karl Anthony Towns. That worked out great. OG Anunoby, he was excellent and a part of a championship winning team in Toronto. Let's bring him in and he's going to level up. Trading the 5 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges still might be a little bit of an overpay, but those two guys together.
Not if they win it all. Hey, John, if they win it all.
It was all worth it, baby.
Right?
Fair enough. That's what I'm saying. Those two guys together, OG and Mikal on the wings, and then Josh Hart, who was traded over and over and over again, finally finds a home in New York. And then one more for you is them having the courage to get rid of Tom Thibodeau, a guy who took them to the conference finals for the first time in 25 years. And they went, look, we thank you for your service. And you took us farther every single year. But we think this team can be unlocked even to another level, to Al's point. We just needed the right coach to do it. And it's not going to be Tom Thibodeau. It's going to be Mike Brown, who's actually going to use his bench and is going to play in different styles in different ways and not just be super hyper reliant on Jalen Brunson every night. All the way around, top to bottom for this organization, the Knicks are finally proving that This is what Knicks fans have waited for so long. And again, congrats to that organization and that fan base.
Yeah, you know, Leon Rose, he doesn't speak to the media a lot, but his moves have been quite loud for this Knicks franchise, as he's been making the right moves clearly as they are now in the NBA Finals. And if you're the Knicks, you're obviously thrilled to see the Western Conference Finals tied at 2 games apiece. But if you had to pick, John, who do you believe New York would rather play in the NBA Finals? The Thunder, who have a lot of injuries or some injuries, or San Antonio?
Yeah, I think the Knicks are probably just worried about themselves. It's a tough matchup either way, right? Because, look, you're playing your best basketball. You do get some more rest. In the last series, I was a little concerned about that with the layoff and how would they look against the Cavaliers, and they came out flat to start game one, and then they just hit the accelerator and never let up after that. So I think whoever they play, the Knicks are going to give them a really good series. They're going to be the underdogs, though, against either team, right? Because even though the Thunder do have the injury to Jalen Williams and A.J. Mitchell, they're the defending champs, and they have the 2-time MVP, and they're the deepest team in the entire NBA. And then on the other side, if they play the Spurs have Victor Wembanyama, who is just an absolute game changer because we've never seen anything like him in the NBA. So it's going to be a tough matchup regardless, but I think it's going to be a really good series. And even though the Knicks, I think, will be the underdog in that series, they can beat both of those other teams. I wouldn't have said that before they played the Cavaliers because I thought, okay, the Hawks were a little suspect. The Sixers gave them absolutely nothing. I figured that the Cavs would at least put up a fight because their first 4 guys are really good. Well, no. The Knicks said, we're infinitely better than all of those teams. So whoever they play, it's going to be a fantastic series. And I'll tell you what, the league office and Adam Silver, they don't care who comes out of the West because regardless, the ratings are going to be blockbuster for this series.
For sure. I mean, the Knicks right now, just putting their will on teams right now. And I don't think it really matters who comes out the West. But, if you ask me for who I would pick OKC. Just for the simple fact that, they are dealing with some injuries. Obviously the 2-time MVP, reigning champions, all that means a lot. But I just still think that the way that we're playing basketball and the fact that we have, 4 or 5, really 4 defenders that we can throw at him, I think that would be our better matchup over, playing against Big Vic Wembanyama.
All right, well, we'll see. Both teams, they have 2 more wins to get to the NBA Finals. Now, as for the Cavs, they never recovered after blowing that 22-point fourth-quarter lead in Game 1, although analytically, they battled, okay? And when you think about this current iteration of players, it's the most expensive roster in the league this season, by the way. And Donovan Mitchell, you got James Harden, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen. When you think about that core, is it time, Al, to give up on the idea that this group can win it all? I mean, I know it's short because James Harden, he came in midway, but do you feel like they can run it back with those players and make something shake to get to the NBA Finals?
I think they definitely can run it back, but I honestly don't think that talent or that group can actually get over the hump and get to the finals. I think they can make a run to the Eastern Conference Finals just like they did this year. But I think once they get to that point, they will be a little overmatched. I think that, Donovan needs a real number 2 with him, someone that he can really rely on. And obviously that was supposed to be James, but, when you really think about it, James was just, he's up there in age. And the fact that, he only plays on one side of the basketball. One of the things, most frustrating things for me watching this series was the fact that every time he took a shot, whoever was guarding him got a layup